Suzuki has established a big name for itself in the small car market. The Swift was one of the original city cars and is still popular today.
And now they're up to their 6th generation, Danny, so let's see if this all-new model can live up to its famous predecessors.
Most people I knew, their first car was either a Holden Barina or a Suzuki Swift, and it's good to see that it's still going strong years later.
Yeah, it's certainly, it's been popular. It's been popular for a reason because it has provided that sort of affordable transport. It's a good little city car. It has been, for now 6 generations. So what do you think though of this new look model? It's kind of pretty funky on the outside.
Yeah, I really like the look. It retains that sort of cheekiness to it. It's urban and very funky. The inside though, I have to admit, I feel like I'm stepping back in time when I look at this interface.
Yeah, look, it's a pretty old school infotainment system, but you got to remember this is this costs $16,990. It's a pretty affordable new car, so you are going to miss out on a few little goodies. But for another $1,000 you can get the GL Navigator, which I tested recently, which brings Suzuki's latest touchscreen infotainment system, but it also gives you alloy wheels, a reversing camera, and of course nav. So for another $1,000 it's actually a pretty good deal. But for this car, yes, it's basic, but I don't mind it. I think the rest of it is quite funky, and it's actually well laid out, well thought out, the cabin. There's actually decent space for what is such a small car on the outside. Yeah,
the interior is simple but neat. Cheap plastics aside, it does look good. The steering wheel is quite nice as well. I think you do need a reverse camera because the design at the back though, it is a bit hard, your blind spot area in particular.
Yeah, you do have some quite big over-the-shoulder blind spots thanks to the exterior design. It looks nice on the outside, but not so practical inside. And actually, the thing I like about the Suzuki is how it drives. So why don't I give you a turn?
Okay. So, Steve, it is a fun little car to drive. I really like this 5-speed manual gearbox. It just eases quite well, and very small engine, 1.2 litre naturally aspirated engine, only 66 kilowatts of power, 120 newton meters. Not much on paper, but fortunately this is a very light car. It is offset by that lighter weight.
Yeah, it only weighs like 870 kilos, which is very light by modern car standards. So yeah, it hasn't got a lot of power, but it doesn't really need a lot of power. And like you say, I think the gearbox is nicely matched to the engine. I've found driving the CVT auto version, it keeps up with traffic. It does all the basics that you expect a little city car to do. But I think the kicker is what Suzuki's done really well lately is they've honed the chassis quite nicely. The ride is quite comfortable for such a small car. The handling is quite responsive.
The steering isn't the best, but I'm still enjoying it.
I think Suzuki has done a great job recently, and I think this is another example of just doing all the basics right. It's not fancy, doesn't have any frills, but it actually does a really nice job, and it's actually quite an enjoyable little city car to drive. Yeah,
it is. The one thing I think that is irking me a little bit, obviously, being a mum and a parent, is the 3-star Euro NCAP rating that this got. If you add safety gear, it becomes 4-star.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trick, that one, because yes, 3-star rating is not good. I don't think that we can praise a car for a 3-star rating, certainly, but where it really suffered is not having things like autonomous emergency braking, which the safety authorities now really push for. So generally speaking, its crash protection is actually quite good. Yeah,
look, I like it. I think I'd have to think twice about it, especially if this were a first car for my son or daughter, or even if it's a car the grandparents are driving for their own safety or they're driving kids. So I think anyone who does consider buying this really needs to do their research.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, if you do your research and have a look, you can get like we mentioned, the GL Navigator before, but on top of the Navigator, for another $1,000, you can add some of that safety gear, like autonomous emergency braking. You can get adaptive cruise control, which is pretty cool for such a little city car like this. So even then, another $2,000 on top of this, it's still not a very expensive car. And at that price, you're getting a lot of gear, a lot of safety. I think it actually makes a pretty strong argument for being one of the better city cars on the market.
Yeah, and it's definitely a worthy investment, that extra gear.
Yeah. So, I think it's another good job by Suzuki.